Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with you this morning and to just know how much you support this ministry, Family Promise of the Midlands. I do want to recognize a few people, Linda Byram, Christy Cooper, and Jackie Cominati, and Jody Beckham as well, and everyone who volunteers for our ministry. You are our angels. You are the magic of Family Promise of the Midlands, and you truly make this ministry what it is. So I have a video I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes that kind of explains our services for those who don't know. What I really wanted to touch on today was my personal journey that led me here and has me talking to you wonderful people this morning. So part of that started as a child growing up in Stockton, California. And for those who don't know, Stockton, every year the list is put out, the 10 worst cities to live in, the most impoverished cities to live in. Stockton, California is one of those cities. So my story is the story of the children that we're serving. I grew up in a family like that. I grew up in, and I'll touch on a few of those details, but I just wanted to let you know it is because of the grace of God. And the reason why I titled my sermon For His Glory is because everything that I've been given, everything that I'm able to do is through God. And I selected Ephesians 2:10, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to good works, which God has prepared us in advance to do. Because I know the experiences I had as a child growing up, the experience I had growing up as a teen led me to this position today to be able to share my story with everyone, to inspire them, whether it's to give, whether it's to let them know that they could make it no matter where they are in life. That's why I know I've gone through these things in my life. So I'm so happy to share that message with you today. But first, I would love to show one of our families in the program, and so you can learn a little bit more about what Family Promise of the Midlands does, and I can't wait. Thank you.
I was all out of options. I had no money, I had no support, I had no family. It was heart-wrenching as a parent to not be able to provide for your children or always having to rely on someone else. But I was at a point I was like, I literally don't know what to do. And there's nothing I can do. And I was like, I felt like I was failing my kids and I was failing myself. I'm sorry.
It's an invisible homelessness. You know, you don't necessarily see it. When you think of homelessness, you think of the person pushing the shopping cart, the person under the bridge. You don't think of family homelessness as being that. So you don't necessarily see that a child going to live with someone else while the parent has to figure it out. There's a split there, and if we could prevent that split, which is what Family Promise of the Midlands does, the family's gonna be more likely to be successful in the future. And that child is also going to thrive and have more opportunities because the family has not split up. Addictions, gambling, we had trouble remaining in one home. I saw it as a child. I vividly remember wearing the same thing to school every week and on picture day, and I was dying for that. Someone to tell me that I could be more than my situation. And that's what Family Promise does.
I did not want to take a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 10-year-old to a shelter. I was scared that I would lose my children due to the fact that I could not provide for them. It was nothing but a blessing for Family Promise to come in, and I thank them every day for everything that they do for us. I'm like, literally, if it was not for them, I have no idea where I would have been or would have been able to do for my children.
There's shelters specifically for single men or single women, and the shelters that are available for families are often specific situations. So there has to be a particular family makeup, whereas Family Promise accepts a family makeup however they come to us. What makes Family Promise of the Midlands so special is the faith-based community, and that's exactly where it started. We have host congregations and support congregations. And the host congregations are the ones who actually host the families for a whole week. And they turn classroom spaces into just beautiful living areas for families. And the support congregations are there to help those host congregations, whether that's providing meals, volunteer services, various things to make sure that the families that are staying in those congregations have a very warm welcome. You know, during 2020, we realized, of course, with churches closing to outside services, that we were unable to continue to shelter families that way. We needed to build a partnership where the volunteers are going to the families versus the families going from host congregation to host congregation. Fortunately for us, we received a transitional home from Clayton that we own and will serve families into the future and beyond. We also developed a partnership with Reconciliation Ministries and are renting a triplex, and those are 3 townhomes, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, that our families are all staying together, and our churches are still able to help us support the families through that.
Oh, thanks, guys. My kids were enrolled in daycare. The next day I started working, and from there things have been taken off. I've been able to save. I just want a roof over my head for my children and somewhere they can call home. And Elijah can go out and play basketball and meet new friends. My next step after being here, my goal is 6 months to a year to purchase my own home. And then I'll graduate from the triplex into my forever home. And that is my goal. If anybody ever needs Family Promise, just know that they are really here to help, and they will help in every aspect. They are truly a family, and they held their promise. They have the perfect name, Family Promise.
So Janae is one of many families we served last year. And just to let you all know, she has moved into her forever home, and we're so excited about that. And her story is so moving for me on a personal level. And we've really had to adapt, of course, as everyone has, to the times. And for us, as an organization where you count on the shelter space being inside of the churches and us not being able to shelter there, again, like I said, the things that God has done in my life has led me not to panic. It led me to be able to adapt to what we needed to do last year and through this year, just as all of you are doing. One of the things that I wanted to share with you today is that those experiences, they're called adverse childhood experiences. They're linked to so many things as you get older. It's a 10-question quiz, and it depends on how many you have, but they are linked to different health issues, different mental health issues, and things like that. But what I want to do is have an organization of cycle breakers. I want to have an organization where we could stop the generational poverty cycle. And that's something that, fortunately for me, I was able to do. And I shared this on Friday with Richland County First Steps when I was talking to them, to their staff. But I was thinking recently, so both my girls, I have 2 daughters, 11 and 7, and they go to Lexington 1 schools, and over 60, 70% of the bus drivers are out. So I was thinking, as I was waiting in line for about an hour at an elementary school, man, I remember being a child and not having a fixed address. So I would have to wait outside of school because the bus couldn't take me anywhere, and I would have to wait for a ride. And I remember being there. And here I am trying to get the first in line to make sure my child doesn't have to wait outside of school, or I'm waiting in line to make sure, and I'm texting with my oldest in middle school and saying, hey, Daddy's only 7 cars back, I'll be right there, just letting her know I'm on my way. And I think about that. I think about that often, actually, as a child, kind of what that was like for me and those experiences. But I know that just made me stronger to be able to understand what our children are going through, what it feels like not to have an address, what it feels like to couch surf, to be in different places. So for me, leading this organization is a blessing. It truly is. And for the Board of Family Promise of the Midlands, for all of the churches that are involved, for them to see what we're doing in the community and the magic behind having the faith-based community there. People who don't care about the cameras being around, people who don't care about the pictures and all those things, They just want to serve. To me, that is how you break that cycle of generational poverty. That is how you help children. One of the things we're able to do this summer is through our partnership with Camp Cole, and we were able to send 83 children who have never experienced overnight camp to camp for a full week through this partnership with Camp Cole, and we called it Camp Impact. And these are children who have either experienced homelessness or are at risk of homelessness, and to see the joy on their faces, to see them truly be excited about learning how to fish, learning how to swim. I'm not afraid to admit, I still don't know how to swim. I didn't grow up in neighborhoods where there were pools. I didn't have swimming lessons. So to see these children, to know the work that God is doing, to go back to our Opportunity Center and to see all the sleeping bags that our church has provided, all the blankets, all the sunscreen, to know how much you all care. You don't know these children. You probably won't see them. But to see you planting these seeds to help our community is truly what keeps me going every single day. So recently, we had this night without a bed, and it's something to kind of build awareness around homelessness, build awareness around what it's like to either, we had some of our families that support the organization sleep in the backyard. I slept in the car with my family, with my daughters and my wife, and I kind of suppress all those things and all those emotions and things that happened to me. But sleeping in the car that night brought back a lot of memories for me, and it's something where I know that this organization is doing the right thing because we're trying to provide a house for people who may not have gotten the lessons that some of you got when you're a child, right? And that's the thing. There's this stream of homelessness, right? You have an upstream homelessness of families who are trying to figure it out. We would love to catch those families upstream before they move downstream, before this family split up, before you see the person that I spoke about in the video who may be, at transitions, may be seeking services that they need, like a homeless shelter. We want the families to stay together and catch them upstream. And with your love and support, we're able to do that. We're able to not only just provide housing and support for these families, we're able to provide love. They get notes from one of our moms who's trying to be a teacher. She's able to do an internship for 6 months to become a teacher because of this support. And she's gotten so many notes from our supporters just saying, you could do it, we believe in you. And that, to see the joy on her face, to see the tears that she had just from that is so heartwarming. So I really just want to thank you all for what you do for this ministry. I want to thank you for believing in us, in the work that we're doing, that you might not be able to see right now because we're not able to house our families in the churches. But I promise you, we have so much going on behind the scenes. We have so much that we want to do for our families, and we'll keep everyone updated, and Reverend Skidmore and Jody, and you're going to hear a lot more from us, and we wouldn't be able to do this without your support. So thank you all.
Thank you, Jeff, for sharing good news with us. We are assured that God asks us to bring